The NCAA tournament is here, and we are dedicating the next 30 minutes to get you ready for it today on North Dakota Hockey Central. I'm Alex Heinert. It is great to have you with us at the start of UND's push for a 9th national championship. Coming up, we will get Brad Berry's thoughts as his team enters the final chapter of their season. Plus, Brad Schlossman will break down UND's draw in the Midwest Regional. First, though, here is the latest episode of UND's award-winning web series, Through These Doors. It's a good one.
Through These Doors is presented by Gate City Bank.
First, let's start with the 4-1 seeds. And no surprise here, the #1 overall seed, it is North Dakota.
It was cool to watch that selection show with all the guys at the rink there. But, I mean, we knew we were going to be in Fargo. And we weren't sure who we were going to play. But, you know, our mindset right now is to just, it doesn't matter who we play. We need to worry about, you know, like our game and coming out and performing how we know how to play.
It was an unforgettable frozen face-off in Grand Forks. UND jumped out of the gates with a hot start, scoring 4 goals in the first period on the way to a 6-2 win in the quarterfinal. Here comes Kawaguchi across the line. Adams going to the net. He got it to Adams. He scores! Deep left backhander, 14 seconds in. How about that? It's 1-0 UND.
Our first game, you know, we kind of just preached, and Brad preached to, you know, get the first goal and start fast. And yeah, that's exactly what we did, I think.
That last game against Miami, I guess, was, you know, it was the first game of the playoffs, and we didn't get to play in the playoffs last year. So I think a lot of the guys were pretty fired up, and, you know, just to have the chance to go out there and play this year. So, you know, I think we took advantage of it, and you could tell everyone was ready with that start.
The Fighting Hawks endured a hard-hitting battle in the semifinal against Denver, ending in an overtime thriller. Tomisto's out. Here's a shot and a goal by Hain. Just as Tomisto came out, Gavin Hain picked up a loose puck in the face-off circle and drilled it by Corona, and North Dakota wins it in overtime.
We had a game plan tonight, you executed it. Didn't go the right way offensively, right? But that's what happens in hockey sometimes, right? Tomorrow it's going to go the right way from Dave from minute 1, all right? Dale, great job.
Yeah, it was fun. Obviously, we do that kind of every game. Some guys are better speakers than most. I'm up there with the not-so-good speakers, so they kind of knew that, so that brought in a little humor, but
We had a battle at the end there. We never gave up. We got one more tomorrow.
Finally, it was St. Cloud State in the championship, where Reese Gaber and Jordan Kawaguchi stole the show. Gaber out near the blue line, top of the slot, toe dagger on one. He's going to walk right in. They're going to draw a penalty and score! Play made by Gaber off his stick right to Kawaguchi, who shelved it.
I mean, that was a big game for us in the program. You know, UND's never won the frozen face-off in the NCHC anyways. So, you know, we wanted to be that team to, one, win it for the first time in program history, but also in the NCHC history, be the first team to win the Penrose and the playoff trophy. So, you know, like, we were down in that game as well, but that locker room between the second and third period, we could kind of talk, and you could tell guys that, like, we were going to come out and win that game. It was just kind of a feeling that we had. There was never really a doubt in that game. So, you know, I mean, we just stuck it out, and I'm proud of the guys the way they showed up in that game.
Next on the docket, American International in the NCAA Midwest Regional in Fargo.
So today we have kind of need to be quarantined in the hotel or whatnot. So, I mean, I've done some schoolwork, had a test today, but, you know, in the off time we went out and played Lightning. They got a basketball court right out of the hotel. So a bunch of the guys went out there and were playing basketball today, and we've seen some Michigan guys out there too, so we try to not go to the court when they're there. But yeah, we've been doing what we can to stay busy. Some guys have got their Xboxes here and stuff too, so and we've had meetings and stuff all day too, so you don't get too bored here. There's plenty to do.
While the team looks to check off another box, players and coaches seek to enjoy quality time with one another before the journey commences once again.
I mean, the culture that we have is pretty incredible. You know, we're all a close team. We share a lot of laughs together every day, including the coaches. You know, they're definitely a part of the team as well. But at the same time, when it has to be business, you know, it's straight business, and we do a good job of all of that, I think. And yeah, we're just a very close team, and I think kind of pays for it on the ice.
I mean, I wasn't really expecting much. I haven't played basketball in a while, but it's nice to just come out here and get in the sun for a bit. And we're all pretty competitive, so it was nice to get that win.
Who would you say is like the worst shooting form on the team?
I'd have to say Pete's up there. He looks like Peter Pan when he shoots the ball. So.
Thanks to Tyler Hasted, Chad O'Shea, Cassie Niles, and UND's entire Through These Doors team. That episode is a good reminder of what UND has already accomplished this season, but there's one more trophy this group would like to claim. When North Dakota Hockey Central returns, we'll hear from their head coach and how the top-seeded Fighting Hawks are getting ready for the next step on the journey. Welcome back to North Dakota Hockey Central. Let's go out now to Ralph Engelstad Arena, where UND head coach Brad Berry is standing by. Brad, thanks for joining us on the eve of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Great to be here.
We will talk at length about the Midwest Regional in a moment. First, though, you've had some time now to process the Frozen Faceoff title your team captured last week. Any new perspective on what that championship means to you and the program?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Alex. Absolutely. You know, it's very special for us. Obviously, we haven't won that postseason playoff championship in the 8-year existence of the NCHC. It's tough to do. It's tough to win the Penrose going through the grind of the regular season, but you know, when you're in a short period of time, when we had to play 3 games in 5 days in a single elimination format, really proud of the way our guys handled it. You know, we had some ups and downs, and we handled all the adversity and got through, you know, winning the championship. But now it's turning the page and moving on to the NCAA tournament.
That title game against St. Cloud State was last Tuesday. How have you seen your team benefit from the extra time to prepare for Friday's NCAA opener?
Yeah, I think that was, you know, well constructed by Josh Fenton, Michael Wiseman, and the NCHC of, you know, wrapping up our postseason playoffs in one venue in a short amount of time in a single elimination format, and ahead of the weekend where normally you have to scramble to prepare and get ready for the NCAA regional. You know, the championship game was held on a Tuesday night. It gave us the rest of the weekend, and then a full week to prepare for eventually a Friday game in Fargo. So I think it gives you added rest. It gives you more time to prepare, and I thought it was well thought out of by the NCHC.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to be a popular question for you this week, but what can you tell us about the status of guys like Jacob Bernard-Docker, Grant Mismash, and Mark Senden, who missed some or all of the Frozen Faceoff?
Yeah, well, I can definitively tell you that Jacob Bernard Docker and Grant Mishmash will be playing Friday night. As far as Mark Senden, that's day to day. And we'll have close to a full, if not full, lineup for Friday night in Fargo.
Well, the hope is that you can have a full squad for this weekend's Midwest Regional. You'll be playing close to home again this year. How big of an advantage is that, even if Shields Arena is only 25% full?
You know what, Alex, it's a huge advantage. Let's start by the travel side of it. It's a 1-hour bus ride down to Fargo, so you don't have to spend a lot of energy and time, traveling to a destination and get acclimated to that area. We're very familiar with Fargo. We've played in a couple of regionals there already. It's a situation where, our fans don't have to go very far. I know it's limited ticket availability, but, we're planning on seeing probably the majority of that Shields Arena being green, white, and black and cheering us on, which is a huge benefit. We saw that here at our place in the NCHC playoffs, how loud our rink got with a limited amount of fans, and we fully expect that in Shields Arena.
It's your first trip to the NCAA since 2017, meaning no one on your roster has played a game in this tournament. I imagine that lack of experience, though, isn't really a concern, especially given the success that you just had in the conference playoffs.
Yeah, no, I think we've been immersed in high playoff type scenarios throughout the regular season. We think it's a playoff game every night in the NCAC regular season, and then now you go to the postseason tournament where you're, like we said, we played 3 games in 5 nights. We won 1 game leading. We won 2 games trailing from behind. Those are playoff type situations. So when it comes to being in the NCAA tournament experience, I don't think that makes a big difference for us.
Your opponents in the first round are the Atlantic Hockey champions, American International. What's the scouting report on AIC?
Yeah, well, they're a very good team. They play very fast. They've won the majority of their games in their conference. They've had some experience, of winning some playoff games, and we're gonna make sure that we're cognizant of the things that they do in a game, but not to really kind of get too in depth on what they do. It's mostly what we want to do. We've had success over the last couple of years here of kind of concentrating and accentuating what we do as a group, and we're going to continue to do that through our week of practice here.
Even though the Yellow Jackets are the 16 seed, I have to imagine their recent history in this tournament helps get the attention of your group.
100%. It was absolutely communicated with our group. The success they had a couple years ago in a regional when they were 16 seed and St. Cloud was a 1 seed, and they upset St. Cloud that year. So it's got the attention of our team here, knowing that 16 teams have earned the right to get in the NCAA regionals. Everybody's got a blank slate, and it's what your body of work is from now on till the rest of the year.
Not to look too far ahead, but if you win on Friday night, you would get the winner of Michigan and Minnesota Duluth on Saturday with a Frozen Four berth on the line. What are your thoughts on how the rest of the regional came together?
Yeah, well, I think, just the construction of it, I thought the tournament committee did an outstanding job. At first they were going to talk about regionalizing it with just close travel, eliminating a lot of flights. And I think what they did was they really took into effect the integrity of the brackets, meaning that, making sure that they had really, I guess, equal regions across the East and the West as far as making it on paper look like it's pretty even. And they did. And it's one of the things that we really obviously know that's going to be going forward. It's going to be a point of emphasis for us. But I think mostly, taking care of 1 game at a time. You mentioned about the bracket as far as all 4 teams being there. The only thing we're focused on is AIC on Friday night in Fargo, and our focus is trying to win that game.
This weekend is the start of the final push for your team to check that last box. Knowing how badly your group wants this, how they all came back to win this tournament, how do you help them to simply play their game and enjoy the experience?
You know what, that word you said, enjoy the experience, that phrase I should say, enjoy the experience, that's what we've used here. And I think we've kind of captured it by talking about it in kind of a one-word phrase meaning the journey, enjoying the journey and making sure that, whether there's ups or downs, you're digging in and you're enjoying every minute of it. And I tell you what, the year has gone by so fast here. We're in the fun time of year right now, and we're really excited about having an opportunity to do some special things and enjoying the journey.
I know we are all excited to see what this team can do this weekend and just how far they can go. Brad, thanks again for the time. Best of luck in Fargo.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex.
After the break, we will take a closer look at what's in store for UND this weekend with college hockey beat writer Brad Schlossman. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Nobody covers North Dakota hockey or college hockey in general like Brad Schlossman of the Grand Forks Herald. Brad joined me earlier today to break down the start of UND's NCAA tournament experience. Here's that conversation. The Midwest Regional, where UND is in, of course, appears to be a pretty difficult draw. What do you make of the 4 teams that are in that particular spot in Fargo?
Yeah, I think so. North Dakota and American International, who are the only 2 teams in college hockey to win both their regular season and their playoff titles this season. Both teams also won their regular season titles last season and had aspirations of being in the tournament. So they're both coming off of back-to-back really good years. And then in the other game, you've got kind of the veteran team that's been there and done it with Minnesota Duluth. A lot of those guys were on their national championship team in 2019. And then you've got the up-and-coming team, Michigan, who just has a crazy number of top prospects. They have 3 guys who could go in the top 10 or even the top 5 of this year's draft. So just a crazy amount of talent. I think they're a pretty complete team. They've got really good goaltending from Strauss-Mann, who's going back to the place where he won a USHL Clark Cup with the Fargo Force. And so I think you've got, 4 pretty good teams at this regional.
It's going to make for a fun couple days, certainly in Fargo. You had a great story earlier this week on UND's first-round opponent, American International. What are some things that the Yellow Jackets bring to the table that UND is going to have to be ready for?
Well, I think a few things that jump out. Well, first of all, they've lost 3 times this year. So this is a team that's used to leading and winning games. That stands out. Number 2, when you look at some of the players they have, they've transferred in from some pretty prominent programs, teams that have gone to Frozen Fours, won national championships. They've got guys from Providence, from Denver, from Minnesota State Mankato. So you see some pretty good pedigree from some of their players there. I think that jumps out. And of course, I think for everyone, this is the team the last time they're in the tournament pulled off that stunning upset, 16-1 in this exact same building. So a lot of these players are going back to a place that they're familiar with and have very good memories of. And the other crazy stat, I think, is in the last 6 years, the number 16 seed has a winning record over the number 1 overall seed. That's hard to believe, but the 16 seed is 3-2 over the number 1 seed in the last 6 years in the last 5 tournaments. So that is something that, I think should get the attention of Brad Berry's crew. You would expect that they will have heard those statistics coming into this one. From a UND perspective, Brad Berry has confirmed that Jacob Bernard-Docker and Grant Mismash are going to be in the lineup on Friday. Obviously, the North Dakota team was able to win the Frozen Faceoff title without those 2, but that's a huge boost to this group and their chances of moving forward, getting those 2 back. Well, when they have their full defensive core available, they're, I believe, 10-1 this year. They've only lost 1 game, and it was in overtime. I think that just makes them so much deeper to have all those guys back there. And of course, Jacob Bernard-Docker was playing as well as any D-man in the country at the time of his injury. I think since January 30th, he has more points than any defenseman in the nation. And he's missed 2 games, so they could be even more. I feel up front, they really haven't found a guy that works great. They found guys that can get it done, but really fits in with Colin Adams and Jordan Kawaguchi on that top line. We know Grant Mismash works very well up there. And then the big key to me is that bumps a guy like Gavin Hain or Brendan Booty down into the lineup. And then all of a sudden you can have, potential mismatches on your 3rd and 4th line. Last thing for you, finish this sentence for me, Brad. UND will advance to the Frozen Four if? They play with the lead. I think this team, when they score first this year, they're 18-0. They're very difficult to chase a game against. We found out in the frozen faceoff that they can rally if they get behind, but I think scoring that first goal of the game and building an early lead is huge. They've been very successful at riding out victories when they're playing with the lead.
Thanks to Brad for the time. By the way, do yourself a favor and subscribe to the Herald if you've not done so already to support Brad and his colleagues in the great work they do. When we come back here on North Dakota Hockey Central, we will hear what's on the players' minds ahead of UND's date with AIC and set the scene for the weekend ahead at Shields Arena. Stay tuned. North Dakota does not have to travel far for the first stage in this year's NCAA tournament as they're hosting the Midwest Regional in Fargo once again. They're one of 4 teams that'll battle at Shields Arena this weekend, along with AIC, Minnesota Duluth, and Michigan, and all 4 have the same goal: win 2 games to book a spot in Pittsburgh at the 2021 Frozen Four. As we look at the bracket, North Dakota and AIC are the second game on Friday as they'll follow the UMD-Michigan contest, which takes place at 3 p.m. Central on ESPNU. The Midwest Regional title game will be at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, also on ESPNU. UND has never played American International, but that will change Friday night at 8:30 p.m., a game you can watch on ESPN3. These 2 teams each won their regular season and conference tournaments, the only 2 teams in college hockey to pull off the double this year, and there are combined 36-8-1 this season. We will break down all the action from the Midwest Regional all weekend long on MidcoSN social media platforms, and again next week on North Dakota Hockey Central. Until then, on behalf of our MidcoSN crew, I'm Alex Heinert. Enjoy the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament, and I will see you at Shields Arena.